Welcome, everybody, to another edition of The Life Between All or Nothing, a podcast about changing your life. I'm Scott J., and of course, we've got
Mary Kay.
And we are excited. This is our second season. We're now our second show into our second season. We have so many good things happening, and this is one of those people that when Mary Kay talk about the kind of guests we want to have, Kellen, you're like right up there at the top of the list. This is Kellen Ann, who has just got, to say inspiring is to really shortchange what you are. It's well, if I build you up enough, you're not even going to be able to talk. So
I won't. I'll be like.
So
have you ever known me to be speechless?
Yeah. So let me see. She's traveled to outer space. She has cured polio.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm kidding. Kellen, first of all, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Mary Kay, Scott. Thank you so much.
And we're covering up and down the East Coast.
We're happy you're here.
Now. I'm down in Florida. We got Georgia, and then we got up in Toronto or outside of Toronto, and we got all the areas covered here. But Kellen, you sent me your book, and we'll jump right in because that's one of your latest projects. Is this book? It's called Wag More.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about this book because this is really interesting.
Well, the concept came from a pop-up that Michael Heppel had about writing a book. And maybe 15, 20 years ago, I was a PR person for a fairgrounds, and I was writing PR press releases, AP style, not very exciting, just slamming them out. And I did not know that the lady hired me for a more creative slant on the PR that I was doing for the fairgrounds. And so she literally said, "You're the worst writer I've ever met in my life." And at that point, I never wrote again until during COVID. And So I know, you got to be careful what you say to people, right?
Wow. I can totally relate.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have a story like that. Yeah. I was told I couldn't play the violin. I wasn't, all this stuff, but that one just stung. Because I was really excited about being a creative writer, but I was really bummed that I had to write press releases, but I thought it's a start and I'll just do it. And then I find out that I'm told I'm the worst writer she's ever met. So then we go ahead to COVID, and I don't know if you guys know Michael Heppel. He's from the United Kingdom. He's a world-renowned speaker, author. He's got, I don't even know how many books he has. He's so many books. He did this fun little pop-up during COVID, and I thought, I'm going to try it. So I, did all the little assignments that he had, and he didn't comment or anything. I thought, maybe she was right. I really suck as a writer, so I can say that, right?
Yeah.
So then at the end, of course, there's an upsell. There's an upsell, and he has this master class. And at the time, it was COVID. People were even. I got laid off from my job, and I was. I just, and then he calls me and he says, "Are you going to be in my master class?" I'm like, "Oh, I'd love to." I said, "But I really can't afford it right now." He goes, "Oh, I got a spot. Someone that's gonna, give you a scholarship for it." And I go, "Really?" I go, "I didn't think I was decent writer because nobody said anything." He goes, "Oh, no." He goes, "You need to be in this class." And so that gave me the inspiration. And I originally wrote my book. It was like 600,000 words. Okay. And it was all about my life.
One big run-on sentences. No periods. No, it's just a lot of words.
It was about my life. I was abused as a child. I was abused in my marriage and relationships, emotionally, not physically, but almost. And it was just it was like a spew of all that. And then I realized that nobody would want to read this thick book that I wrote about my turmoil, because everybody has their own. And I thought this was, I'm going to use this as a healing. And I literally printed it out. It was this thick. Can you see? Okay. And I had a ceremonial burning at my new house. And I had a fire pit. I lit it on fire and I released everything. And that was kind of the beginning of Wag More, because I thought I want to write a self-help book, but I don't want it to be like too dry. So I wanted to be written tongue in cheek. And then I thought, I'm going to use my dogs, my pugs, as my life example, and how I learned to cope with things by just observing my grumble. So 3 or more pugs is called a grumble. And so that's how the book came about. And then I decided to write it as kind of a plan for my daughter, just kind of a little game plan for her. Like, here, you get trouble with your life, read this book. Here's one on love. Here's one on, change, telling the truth. 10 concepts are covered, and they're pretty much life concepts. And it's been fun. I mean, I've had a blast with it.
I love it.
I wanted to bring this up first, and I know I kind of went out of order because we probably should start at the beginning of your story, but I like to bring this up because I wanted to show how like happy you are in your life right now. How like you when you talk about it, you light up, and the work that you do, your writing, it just speaks volumes. And when you appear on the shows, you always speak so well, and you got this positive attitude. And I wanted people to see that before we talked about it wasn't always that way for you, was it?
No. And
you kind of touched
today,
on it
even
bit,
these days, I have some down days. I'm not going to be that way on an interview or anything like that. I mean, I'm human, and I have some crappy days. And I've my mom just passed away. Well, actually, not just passed away, but I'm still dealing with that grief. And I find myself crying just for nothing. But I wouldn't have been able to be as happy and as I say, mentally healthy as I am right now if it weren't for the transformation I did during COVID, which was a transformation. I mean, I reinvented Kellen during COVID.
Mary Kay, I know you can.
Who was Kellen before? Yeah, I can. And so, yeah, who were you before that? Like, what, if you were going to go back and talk to her, like, describe her before what you would say to her, right? I want to know what she was like.
Well, I considered myself a lemming. Okay. I just followed what everybody told me to do. I followed what everybody said. I was the good daughter. I was the good wife. I was the good daughter-in-law. And even though the things, like I talk about this in my talk about making sure that your passion, your career path, and your values are all in alignment. And when they're not, it makes a very unhappy Kellen. And I was miserable. I was like seriously clinically depressed for probably 10 years because I hated what I did. I hated my job.
Oh my God. Wow.
I was not happy in my marriage. And like the only highlight, the thing that got me through was my daughter.
I was just going to say, you're dealing with that while you're trying to raise a child too, which actually you would think, oh, the child brought the sunshine. It can sometimes even create more pressure and stress and depression too, though.
There was a lot of pressure. I mean, I wanted to be the exact opposite of my mom. My mom wasn't abusive in any way. She was just very indifferent. My father was an alcoholic. So he sat on the deck, watched baseball games and drank a case of beer every night. My mom sat and watched Dynasty in the living room, very complacent and nothing. And I just felt like, and my brother, he couldn't get out of the house quick enough. I mean, as soon as he graduated college, he was gone. I have very little relationship with my brother because we were 5 years apart and he couldn't wait to get out of the house.
Wow.
And I felt abandoned by him. I confronted him about that. I felt abandoned by you. You were supposed to be my big brother. And it really hurt, and that's some of the healing that I did during COVID. I mean, there was so much healing.
In damaged families like that, sometimes it's like the sinking of the Titanic. You'd want to help everybody, but you got to concentrate on just saving yourself.
Right.
And sometimes with families that happens, and we see that a lot. But I'm just curious. So now you're in this predicament, not a happy marriage, emotional abuse, depression. You're not happy with anything in your life at that point.
Except my daughter.
Except your daughter.
Except your daughter, yeah.
Seriously, she was the highlight. Every decision I made was for her.
Good or
bad. And she kept you going.
She did. And I'm so proud of her. She's become a wonderful adult, very responsible.
What's her name?
Emily.
Emily, everything we're doing, we're excluding you. You are the happy sunshine in the world.
Yeah.
Because that's where, yes.
So like my work, I was a commercial real estate broker for I think 17 years. I hated real estate. I didn't want anything to do with it. My father-in-law, who I loved, oh my God, I loved him more than he was just an amazing, his integrity. I can't say anything bad about him. He was like the most amazing man I'd ever met. And I think I stayed married as long as I did because I loved him so much and I didn't want to abandon him because things around him were Like, and long story short, he got sick. He didn't tell anybody. He groomed me to take over the business because he knew because I got my broker's license. He said, get your broker's license. He called me Bonesy. I said, get your broker's license. Yes, sir. Got my broker's license. Okay, here's how you do this. Here's how you take care of that. And then the next thing I know, 6 weeks go by and he's on his deathbed. And I'm promising to take care of his wife. Make sure that their income is coming in for her. And that's a whole nother story. I mean, I would have done anything for that man.
But it's just adding more and more to the responsibility that all comes before your happiness, right?
Mm-hmm. There was no happiness. There was none. I put on probably Oscar-winning performances, but inside I was dying.
Mm-hmm.
Jean is with us, and she wants to just mention she loves the license plate. She loves the license plate behind you. We had mentioned that before we went on the air. The license plate is beautiful. It's great.
I got the same one in Georgia now. So she also said she had 3 brothers.
I love it.
And not one could care less if I don't.
Yeah, 3 older brothers. Not one could care less if I kicked the bucket. Broken families are, unfortunately, that happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's when you have to choose your family.
But that's where I learned that family isn't blood. Like, I've met some girls, like, I've never had girls as friends. I've always had guys as friends, because especially in real estate, women are pains in the ass, and they're too aggressive for me. I am no conflict. I wasn't aggressive. I was actually a good realtor. I had a pretty successful career, but I didn't like it. And I didn't like I didn't mind being a bulldog with the contracts, but not with the people. I know I'm digressing, but now I forgot what I was going to say. What were we talking about?
You were talking about
happens to me all the time.
Not having female friendship.
So when I moved to Georgia, I met I've got 4 really amazing women that are my ride or dies, and it's so cool to have that. But I never would allow myself to have friends that were women.
That is cool. Mm-hmm. That is cool. Lynn Serrano's with us. Hello, beautiful friend.
Hi, friends.
Thanks for being here, babe.
She's one of my friends.
So let's get to the real kicker, because there's people out there listening that are probably saying, "Yeah, well, it's easy for you, but I can't change, and I'm stuck." And these are the people that
paralyzed. I felt paralyzed. I know
that's a good description. Paralyzed.
I'm like, what am I going to do? I got men that are beating me down, telling me you can't live without me, you can't survive without me, and I've got at that time a freshman in high school daughter that's going to depend on me to get her to college. And in COVID, I know it was a terrible thing for a lot of people, and a lot of people suffered and died, and my heart goes out for those people. But it was my chance to step back. I got laid off from my job. And I worked on myself. I'm like, who is Kellen? I didn't even know I didn't even have a favorite ice cream, because when I was with a guy, I was whatever theirs was, it was my favorite too. I was a lemming, a human breathing lemming.
Wow. Autopilot, just going wherever
just
you needed to go. You would programming it in with everybody else's expectations, and then just let it run. Right. That's just surviving.
Yeah, and I give both you guys credit for this, because women get it worse than men as far as step in line. Men were expected to be a little bit out there and crazy. You guys are supposed to step in line in every way. Mary, we've talked about this before, with family values and everything else, and having to step in line and put your own happiness aside, right?
Yeah. My background, Kellen, if you don't know, is I come from a Greek family, so very, very much cultural programming was and still is somewhat part of my DNA, right? It's those expectations that you were talking about. And once you realize what's going on, though, because I had the same kind of epiphany, once you realize what's going on and you feel you're in that stuck place, then you're like, okay, now what? Now I know.
There's no book.
So what am I going to do? We need that guide. We need that. Yeah, we need that how-to guide or transformation for dummies or something to get us started.
The most difficult part for me was like my life was full of chaos and drama. And that was what was comfortable to me. And my therapist said, we have to deprogram you because everything you attract causes chaos and drama. The men you choose, the situations you put yourself in. And that took the longest for me to realize that calm is good, chaos is bad. Because in your mind, your comfort level is the chaos, and you have to, it's a big deal to transform that, to make it make your brain realize that calm and kind is good.
Wow. You know what? I can relate to that because, you know, but obviously my story is different with my addictions and my alcoholism, but the chaos of an alcoholic life and of an addictive life and of being sick all the time and of hurting all the time. And, you know, you're either dope sick or throwing up or something's going on. That became comfortable for me.
Right.
And
sounds crazy.
Moments of solitude, moments of peace, and even moments of happiness to me were painful because it was like standing on the edge of a building waiting to fall. I knew it was going to end, and I was fighting everything to enjoy, and I couldn't allow myself to be happy because I knew everything was temporary. So it was almost painful to be shown those things. It's like a drowning man seeing an oxygen tank that he can't get to. It's just like that's what it felt like. Yeah.
And Mary Kay, I know you can relate to this. You were probably a codependent as well, right?
Because definitely.
That's what we become. We become these codependent. Not that we depend on people, but people gleam to us, and we're caregivers. We take care of people. We take care of things, and that's a hard nut to crack. I literally
it is, and that's something.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say that's something that I still. I don't want to call it struggle, but that's something that I still identify pieces in me. Behaviors. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's where that comes from.
Yeah. I literally went to my pastor because I was so messed up, and I didn't know if I was going to commit suicide. I mean, my head, I was so confused. I went to my pastor and I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I know that what's happening right now is not healthy for me. And he sent me to a 12-step program. And when I went there, I wasn't an alcoholic. I didn't do drugs. I went every Friday night. I think it was Celebrate Recovery. And I completed the 12-step program, and like three-quarters of the way through, we determined I was a codependent. And that's what that's what my recovery was all about. But if it weren't for my pastor, I don't know where I would have been, where I'd be today. Cause like I was so lost. I just didn't know. I'm like, I would sit in church and I would cry. Like, just like start bawling, and I didn't know why.
I'm glad you brought that up. Celebrate Recovery doesn't get a lot of press, but it's a really great program.
It's amazing.
That's operated usually in your faith, your community faith centers or churches, or it's usually a faith-based organization that runs these Celebrate Recovery meetings. But it's a chance for people to get together and just say, hey, we're all kind of a mess. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Let's see if we can identify what it is,
And I didn't feel odd because I'm like, oh, they're just as messed up as me.
Comfortable. I mean, that's great though, that you have a place of safety to talk and to let things out and to hear other people with their own things. Right.
That's
you find a community.
Someone else have the same issues or problems, and like you don't feel you're not alone anymore. And I think that's what helped me get through it all.
That's great. I'm just curious, was there a catalyst? I know you said COVID and kind of like losing the job, but you know what? You could be standing outside a gym and you want to lose weight or you want to exercise, but stepping through the door is still, even if you've got time, even if somebody else paid your membership, stepping through that door is still a hard thing to do. What was it that made you make that step into learning about Kellen and who Kellen is?
My daughter, because I thought, what kind of example am I setting for her? First of all, if I'm in a relationship that's not loving, I'm showing her that a marriage shouldn't have love and affection, and that's the example I'm setting. I'm in a relationship with someone who's emotionally abusive, then that's setting an example that it's okay for that to happen. And I thought, I need to set a better example for my daughter, and I need to show her how I could be independent, support the two of us, get her dreams and get her to her college that she wanted. I created a business that is it completely in alignment with my values and talents, and everything that I talked about, everything is in alignment. And for her, I think the best thing for me was for her to watch the transformation. So first of all, it isn't a Pollyanna story. It isn't, oh, my mom was perfect and she did that. No, she saw tragedy, she saw blood, sweat, tears, and she saw success. And I think that is the best example that I could set for her. And it made my life better.
This actually brings up something important I'd love to ask about for both of you, is that you're both women who went through struggles and had to go through changes and wins and losses and all those other things. How important is it that you share that journey with your kids and don't try to hide who you are from the kids? How important is it? Because a lot of people, all they want to do is show the kids the perfect stuff. They don't want to share the other stuff. But do you find it's important to do that?
Are you talking to me?
Either one of you.
Well, hell yeah. because I don't want Emily to think that life is, that it's not real. I mean, because it's not real for her to see the Pollyanna. It's real for her to see her mom crying in a bathtub, although that only happened once. Okay. So
yeah.
But I think it's important. So she has a realistic expectation of life. Otherwise, it's tainted and it's not real. And then when it's not working out the way she says, what a huge disappointment. And, I just didn't want her to have that.
Yeah, that's a great point, Kellen. And Scott, to that question, same thing for me, right? My son has seen many things. He hasn't always seen the perfection. And sure, there's some stuff you shield him from, but if they see a perfect life and all the good stuff around you, you're right, Kellen. When a problem comes up, they don't know how to problem solve because they've never had a problem, right?
Exactly.
And if we role model some of that problem solving, even though sometimes it doesn't always work out or solve the problem, it just teaches them. It would
be like showing them an
you
Instagram.
have the power.
It's like showing them an Instagram
exactly.
Life.
Highlight reels.
Yeah. I'd love to show some people some non-Instagram stuff. And I may someday. It'll shock the hell out of all of you.
Yeah, your next book. In your next book. Maybe that's what you're doing.
I finished my next 5 books already. But they're children's books. So.
Oh, okay.
I've shifted gears.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They're actually being illustrated right now.
Hey, that's cool.
Oh, beautiful.
But you're
congratulations in advance.
I don't have time. And the girl that does my drawing, my illustration, she's just amazing. I couldn't do better than she does. So
is it the same person from the Wagmore book?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I saw the front cover of the Wagmore book.
Those were my 5 pugs. I have 3 of them now. 2 of them are across the Rainbow Bridge, but the stories in the book are about all 5 of them are encompassed in the book. So
that's so cool.
Oh, beautiful.
That is so cool.
I can't wait to read it. I'm going to order it. I can't wait. Yeah, for sure.
With what you've been through, you talk very openly about some of the stuff you've been through, and I appreciate that. And I find people that start to find balance in their lives, or at least a resemblance of balance, or even if there's chaos, moving in a positive direction, I should say.
Right.
They're not afraid to talk about what has happened in the past.
Right.
And, do you find people opening up to you because of what you've been through as well, too? And that's important, isn't it?
No, it is. And I want to give back because there were so many people that helped me. I mean, I didn't do this by myself. Good God, no. Yeah. I had an amazing support group, whether it be like my mom, of course, my daughter, college buddies. I have a whole bunch of different worlds on Facebook, and like in one aspect or another, somebody in that world has helped me to get where I am today. And I'm really grateful for that.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
It's great to have those kind of people in your lives, and
I'm so lucky.
and to recognize that you can turn to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure for many years you didn't turn to anybody. You just turned it all inward.
No.
But so you've got your book. I mean, you come out of this on the other side, and it's like, you could probably still go sell some real estate. You'd probably be really good at it, but yeah.
You couldn't pay me to sell real estate. No. it was, I just, there's some people that are meant to sell real estate. I was not ever that person. But that's how much I loved my father-in-law. I'm like, I would do anything. I did anything he told me to do. So
I would love to know, was there a moment when you tried one thing new that because sometimes you don't really recognize the change you're starting, but was there a moment when it woke you up and you said, holy shit, this is what I want in my life?
My card business.
Your card business. Tell us about that.
So it all started during COVID. I mean, I was still working at the time. And remember, do you know Ronnie Goodwin from Goodwin Graphics? He was in the Gittimer 959, that group of people. That's how I met most of like my masterminds that I've become a part of. Anyway, he did something, so I sent him a thank you note and I made him with his logo. It was the most amazing card, but it had like 26 pieces, and it took forever, but it turned out so cool. And I wrote him a thank you, and he like messaged me on Facebook, and we actually talk at least once a month, sometimes every other week. And you got to sell these. This is your thing. And I go, oh God, Ronnie, nobody can afford these because they're so time consuming. And it's not like a printer where you can order 100 of them and get them for, 30 cents. Like the more you order, the less they are. The more you order for me, I charge more because it takes longer, But he said to me, he said this very important thing to me. He said, Kellen, you're not looking at the right audience. And so I took like 2 days where I just shut myself in I was working in my closet at the time because I was living in this very tiny 700 square foot condo, and the closet was big enough for my desk to fit in. And that's where I did all my lives from. The live that you watched, I was probably in my closet.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
And people joke about, because now I have this big, beautiful office, and they're like, oh, you're no more closet days. I'm like, yeah, no. So I did. I locked myself in my closet, and I just searched LinkedIn, and I'm like, okay, and I determined what my avatar was. I'm like, okay, these people care about, they really have no budget, because what's important to them is their image and their presence and their authentic, the way they're showing appreciation. And I built my business around that statement. And I've been in business almost 3 years now. So, and I was able to, when I got laid off, I didn't have to get another job. And then I've expanded my business into gifting. And then I have these new I help authors promote their books to get them on interviews. Like, I'm working with Good Morning America right now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's so, Kellen.
We haven't done it yet, but I'm trying.
But you're there, and I'm sure there's going to be a heck of a lot more stuff coming up, on the roadmap on your journey. But that's 3 years. You went from somebody who was not in control of her
crying
life,
in a bathtub.
yeah, in a puddle, to like really grabbing the reins and creating the life that you want, like a life that you don't want to escape from, a life that you're proud to tell the truth about. Like,
and
that's
excited to get up every day and
oh my God,
conquer the world. And
so inspiring.
I love it. And it's my daughter. She's the bottom line. She's like the impetus of everything I've done, but I've benefited from it. And the other thing I learned that was really important is like in all the relationships and growing up, I never trusted my intuition. And, you're given your intuition, and you need to understand that is you need to follow it. You need to trust it. And that was the second biggest lesson that I had to learn.
Wow. And that's a big lesson. So what does your intuition feel like when it shows up? Just so for whoever's watching today, if they want to know a little more about, like, what might that look like for them? Like, what is it? A sound? Is it a voice? Is it a gut?
I agree, because I think most people would not even recognize the voice of their intuition because they've ignored it for so long. So yeah, what is it like?
I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but for me, it was when words were not lining up with actions. Like my words that were coming out, but what I was feeling inside and doing were like completely different. And when I started following what I wanted to do, So I don't know. Maybe some people say I heard something in my head, or or I got this feeling in my gut. But mine was simple as, okay, I'm saying this, but I'm doing this. So there's something out of alignment here. I need to determine, is this right, or is this right? My heart, is this right?
Yeah,
that's huge. Huge self-awareness, right? It's self-awareness and knowing yourself. Yeah. And I think, a lot of people wouldn't follow that. And I think you said the word alignment earlier when we started our show tonight.
Important. So important.
And so you were recognizing that, you weren't in alignment. So that's so
when
huge.
When I talk to people, I say, well, what are your actions doing? What are you saying? What are you saying, and what are you doing? Are they the same thing? I mean, that, like, I talked to somebody today who I didn't even know, I didn't like plan to have this conversation with them, and when I was talking to them, they were just spinning, and and I go, okay, hold. And she has this list of like a million things that she needs to do. I said, you need to put down 4 things. And one of them needs to be something really simple, like cleaning doorknobs, or something that you can accomplish and check it off and feel good. And then the other 3, you need to just bite them off a little bit at a time and maybe go back and forth. But she had like 20 things. I'm like, you're never going to get anything done. I go, because I couldn't do anything like that. I literally have 4 things I do every day, and that's it. And one of them today was cleaning my doorknobs, because I need to check something off right away. Otherwise I feel defeated,
I love it.
I honestly
love it. Whatever works, right? I think.
I don't think I've ever in my life gone around the house and cleaned doorknobs. I don't think I've ever done that once in my life.
I did it for my mom, because during COVID, she was really like, clean the doorknobs. I'm like, okay, fine. So now I still do it.
I mean, it's a similar thing, because I always tell people, make your bed every morning when you get up.
I do that. Yeah, that's a given, though. That can't put that on my list.
But one of the reasons I do that for people is, and they're like, well, is it? I'm like, yeah, you develop healthy habits by doing it. That's true. But it's also, you get a back end to that. At the end of the day, when you walk into that bedroom and that bed is made and you're going to go to bed, it's almost like, hey, somebody cared about me. It's, and it's like, guess who did? You did. You cared about you. You worship, you cared enough about yourself to give yourself something comfortable at the end of the day. And if you can learn how to gift to yourself, then there's really no limit to what you can do.
Right.
So I'm just curious. You're done then. You're done. You did cards, you wrote a book, you speak, and you do things.
She wrote 5 books or 6 books.
Now 6.
You're done growing. You're done growing. You don't need to explore the world anymore.
No,
you're done, right?
No, you're gonna die. What I just signed up for tomorrow is actually the day I can sign up for it, but I committed to it with the owner of the company yesterday. I'm taking improv lessons.
I love it.
God.
Because you may not believe this, but I'm a recluse. I don't go out very often. And when I do, it's very awkward for me. And like Costco, people laugh at me because I go 10 minutes before they close, because I buy the same like 10 things every month. And it used to be the people at the door would say, Kellen, or they'd say, we're closing in 10 minutes. I go, now I walk in and they go, hey, Kellen. Because they
Wow. I used to get the same thing, but it was at the liquor store.
Like, I went to a grocery store for the first time 2 weeks ago since COVID. Like, I wouldn't even go to grocery store.
Wow.
I know. I'm a freak.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? You do you, Kellen. You do you. If that's your thing, have at it for sure.
And I don't know why I can talk. Like, I was at the event in England, and then this one, like, I don't know. I can do that. I can talk to you guys on this. But I can't go to a mall.
Well, you know what? Next time, take a microphone with you to the mall. Take the mic and walk around like this, because maybe that'll be the thing that you need. But you know, you've been tongue-tied since before COVID, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're able to do that. You were able to do the speaking, and maybe the mall is the next thing. Right? Maybe that's the next thing.
I don't like malls anyway. It might be that. I don't know. But it is embarrassing. Yeah.
See, I'm not a huge fan of a crowd of people without purpose. In a mall, everybody's walking around with no purpose whatsoever.
Exactly. That might be it.
Aimless.
However,
Zombies.
if at a concert, if everybody's going to the concert to listen to music, I'm not bothered because we're all sharing a common goal. So I think it's the unknown of people around me. I'm not communicating with them. They don't know who I am. I don't know who they are. And I'm uncomfortable in those things too. Or at least I almost become claustrophobic in a sense,
Yeah.
being surrounded by a bunch of people like that. However, get me an event where we're all there for a common cause. I'll take a million people. That's why I love going to concerts, and all my friends are in bands and we're always out and playing. And, you know, sometimes I don't even mind getting up singing once in a while because it's all part of the same purpose.
Oh,
But,
nice.
we got Diane is with us saying shopping is a purpose.
Shopping is it?
If I can buy it
I love
online,
it.
I buy it online. It's like, that's all there is to it.
It's
Thank
a
you.
different world. It's a different
is.
world.
I just think, I don't know. I'd rather, like, I built my house, my home. It's like, it's a retreat for me. It's like, I love everything about it. And I'm doing this and improving that and making it my sanctuary. And it's getting harder and harder to leave because I'm starting to get projects completed. And it's like, okay, I'm like, I may never leave. And my daughter's worried. She's like, Mom, you can't make it that good. You'll never leave. And I'm like, I go, then you need to come out and take me out.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome. So, I mean,
So you got
there's so
improv
many-
coming up.
Yes, I'm
Improv.
really excited about it. So one of my best friends from college, she came to visit. She lives in Chicago. She flew down, picked her up Sunday, spent the day with her at my retreat here. She had a blast.
Yeah.
And then she does I don't want to mess this up, but she used to work for Second City, Chicago, downtown Chicago improv.
Yeah.
And so she does talent acquisition. She works with one of the cruise lines. So they were holding auditions today, and then yesterday she had a workshop, and I went to her workshop because I wanted to see her in action, and it was really cool. And then the owner, I didn't know, but I was sitting next to the owner, and he's like, oh, I go, oh no, I'm too shy for this, I can't do this. And so by the end of the night, they're like having me signing up, and so we'll see. I said, I don't want to perform, I just want to learn how to speak better so I can be more entertaining when I do my talks.
I think the thing is to be able to think on your feet quickly.
Yeah.
And respond to any situation. And because sometimes you walk in, it's when I do my trainings and stuff, the first time I had to train police officers about mental health and addiction, and I'm standing there, I got them in a room, and I got an 8-hour training, and it's me and them, and I got 50 police officers, and they're all wearing their guns, and I'm thinking like, this was that kind of combination with me before usually meant there was a high-speed chase going on. Okay. Now I'm on an equal level with them, but I don't know how they're going to react. And having those improv skills, I think I give you credit for doing it.
It can't hurt, right?
Having those skills,
that's right,
to react to whatever the situation might be, whether it's good or bad. You know how to quickly react, and you don't get all tongue-tied in your head.
Right, right.
So that's brilliant. I love the fact that you're doing
so
that.
See, something new.
Something new, and you're going to have fun. You're going to have fun. It's going to unlock a whole other part of your life. Like that, I feel that. It's going to just, how you're in a video game and you do something and it unlocks the next level. It's the same thing. That's exactly. You're doing it.
Is there a dream? Is there a place that we're going to here where you want people to look at Kellen and say, that's what I want to be? Is that something that you're heading towards?
I don't know. I think all I want people to do is to live their life and make sure they're living their life, not something created by somebody else or influenced by somebody else. And that's been the blessing that I've had is like I'm living in my dream home. I have a beautiful house. I love my pugs. I'm relationshipless right now, but I know that that's somewhere down the line because I'm, mentally ready for that. I don't know if they're ready for me, but I
think we're all in the same boat there. On
that.
We are. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wouldn't want somebody to be like me because then that wouldn't be them. I know that sounds kind of cliche-y, and it's just, I think I would love to help people become themselves or find themselves, and without sounding too woo-woo, but at least giving some kind of advice or helping in some way to forge the path for somebody to find out who they really
Mhm.
are, because there's a lot of us walking around completely lost and not knowing who we are, where we're going. I was one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still lost. I have
Yeah,
a
it's-
serious directional challenge. It's called, what is it called? My daughter makes fun of me because I literally get lost
Me
on
too.
straight lines where you go right. You know, it's just spatial cognition issues. It's a spatial cognition issue, and I truly have
I've
it.
got it too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, have
I
you
do.
called
It's
out?
and it's I'm validating that, Kellen. It is a thing. I had when I was in university, I was in my degrees in psychology. And so sometimes we were the ones that had to do the experiments and then
Mhm.
write about it. So the professor's making me go through, it was like a spatial perception using your fingers while your eyes were closed on this raised thing, right? And they were
Mhm.
like pictures drawn in a raised
Okay.
whatever.
Like
I
three-dimensional.
got them all wrong. I got
Yeah,
them
see,
all
I would
wrong.
too. I would too. Like literally, if you say north to me, you may as well be saying potato, because I have no concept of north or south or east or west. Actually, there was a joke when Emily was playing basketball and I would take the team to their games. We would laugh and she would go, "Okay, turn pork chop." Like pork chop to me meant to go this way.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Hamburger
so
turned
funny.
that way.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Potato.
Pork chop.
See, my problem is I sense north, south, east, and west really well. I know how to get to where I'm going usually. If I look at a map and then the next day I got to go someplace, I'll remember what I looked at and I'll get there. I could do all
Wow.
of that. What I can't do is explain to somebody else how to do it.
Well, they
I
always say
can't do
north,
it. If I'm
follow
doing
the
it myself,
sun.
I could do it, but I can't explain it.
They say follow the sun. What if it's cloudy?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait. Who told you to follow the sun to go north?
No, not
sun,
north.
The
I'm
sun
just
goes
saying,
east and west.
I'm just saying directional. Follow the sun. It's cloudy. I'm screwed.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. Hey, I went to school. I thought north was up. Every map it pointed up, and I thought the teacher say which way is north, and I just figured, there you go. It's up.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Oh my God. Thank God for Google Maps.
Oh, I know. I have
Where it
trouble with
tells
that
you.
too, because sometimes I don't believe it. I'm like, no, that's not right. I have trust issues too.
Google mapped the whole earth, but I think they got this.
Oh my God.
No, because okay, I used to drive to Ohio to see my daughter at college, and it's 75 almost all the way there. But Google would make me get off on these roads, and it would take me a half hour out of my way to take me right back to 75. And I didn't say there's a shorter route. You know, you can choose yes, take me to the shorter. I never chose that. I just kept it the same. So I stopped believing Google.
Stop.
I know you hear me, Google.
That's so probably so on your phone, you're gonna get these
We're gonna have a
ads
bunch of
now.
maps on our
Yeah.
phone.
You're gonna get a bunch of, and I'm gonna get them too because my phone's listening.
Yep, they're all listening.
Yeah,
Sometimes I talk about silly things. Like one night I was talking to my daughter and I said, erectile dysfunction.
Oh
I just screamed it. And then both of our phones got ads.
Wow.
We
Wow,
don't have it. They're not even checking genders.
That is so funny. Amazing in one sense, but kind of creepy,
Scary
right?
in another. Yeah.
Scary.
That is crazy.
I'm sorry. Maybe I should have picked another word, but
No.
I just find something crazy that like a mother and a daughter would not be talking about, you know?
Well, just watch a commercial. I mean, they got mothers and daughters walking through a city park talking about feminine hygiene products because that happens all the time.
Yeah. I don't think Emily and I have ever talked about feminine hygiene products.
Yeah.
I can say
That's
that with
so funny.
Or I love the people that go over to their elderly parents' house, sit down for a cup of coffee, and talk about,
incontinence.
where are we going to get money after you die?
Oh, you're talking incontinence. See,
They
now
always
I'm going to
have
have
those,
depends on my phone.
Oh, terrific.
Oh my God. And feminine products too, as well.
Feminine products.
We're all gonna get it. We got to share our ads tomorrow every time they pop up.
Kellen,
So can we
you-
go, can we just go?
Go ahead, Mary Kay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, can we go back to your book for a second? It's called
Yes.
Wagmore.
Yeah.
You've got the pugs. Now, do you talk about the rescue in the book?
Oh,
Like
well,
the dog
I do-
rescue?
Okay, so I have a rescue. It's not official because I've just not had time to. I think I just have to pay and fill out some paperwork. But every year I do it myself. It's Daisy Senior Paw Connection, and I rescue
Oh.
senior pugs and put them with senior citizens. So the deal is neither of them have to be alone. Pugs aren't really aggressive. They like to be pet and sit on laps, and they're not high maintenance in any way. If the people can't afford the treat, like if there's a treatment or something, then I pay for that. And then if they can't afford the food, I pay for the food. And then, which I usually don't have to because family usually steps in at that point. I have my book here. I have it here.
Oh, there you go. Hold it up. Hold it up, please.
There's your. Oh yeah. Oh,
Excellent.
beautiful! I love it. I love the artwork.
So and then
I
and,
love
and
it.
there's an agreement with the family that if the person passes away, then we get the dog back, so they don't have to worry about rehoming it or taking it to a shelter or anything like that. So I do about 30 dogs a year all over, because for the longest time I was known as the pug lady. And so I have a list of people like in different states and stuff like that. So when dogs become available, I just kind of match them up. Here's my favorite part of the book. It's the anatomy.
And that's the table of contents right
Yeah,
there.
it's a table of contents.
I love that.
Oh, that's so creative. I love it.
illustrator
It's beautiful.
was
I can't
amazing.
wait.
She's amazing.
Well, better to be the pug lady
That's
than the crazy
beautiful.
cat lady.
So so that's my little contribution to the rescue world.
That is
Wow,
so
that's
awesome.
a huge contribution. That just
Last year, I think I
that
only
shows.
did 11. My mom was sick, so I couldn't do as much. I think I only did like 11 from last year, but I think I'm like this year I've done 7. So I'm starting to get back into the groove of it.
Yeah. But that's
But
beautiful.
all my
These
dogs, all of mine are
seniors.
rescues. They're all rescues.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Wow.
That is terrific. And before we wrap up, we got a little thing we like to do with guests, and we're going to do that in a second.
I was not warned.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Kellen, somebody's listening right now that's saying, I'm too old to change. It's too late to start over. I may as well just grin and bear it. What do you want to say to that person?
Well, I started over at 54. I started over completely, financially, emotionally, and now 55. I was 55 when I started over. So there's no excuse. I'm sorry. I'm not going to give you an out or an excuse. You have to find the right people to support you. And once you have that, it'll be so easy. And you think you don't have somebody to support you, but there is somebody out there. There's somebody out there that you're not even thinking about that will do more, will run through fire for you. I believe that for everybody.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely. As I like that, no excuse. Yeah, you can bring that on Chris Roush's show sometime.
Yeah.
Yes.
No excuse. Go out and change. Our good friend Chris, but
I love Chris.
yeah, just brilliant guy. But yeah, don't let pride, don't let fear, don't let anxiety, don't let expectations stop you. You know, I'm sure there's people that looked at you really kind of queerly and funny that you walked away from a successful real estate career to go to, make cards.
I know.
I mean, it's just hard to like, wow, okay.
If I could tell you some of my clients, you'd be like, wow. But I had to sign NDSs.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
But it's fun, and it's fun. And
Darn.
when you're passionate and you know what you're doing, it's your create, and like this is so in alignment with everything in my life. So that's why it's working. So you just need to take the time to figure out where everything lines up for you.
You know, you just gave me a brilliant idea. I think I'd like to try it. We are now connecting with podcasters and coaches and influencers all over. Kellen, you've been on the show on Tuesday night. So have you, Mary Kay, with great guys like Rex and Scott and all the guys. And of course, we've got Lynn and people all over the country that have just done amazing work. I would love to write a book with everyone where we all take one chapter and what we share is our greatest lesson. Our greatest lesson that we've learned, and
I'm in.
Just a book of lessons, and we all write one chapter. We put it together. We share it, and every time we give to wounded warriors or something.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Oh yeah,
I would totally do that.
beautiful.
Oh, okay. I'm inspired now, Kellen.
Yes.
There was an interviewer in France named Bernard Pivot, who was a brilliant interviewer, and he was a psychologist. He does a lot of things. He was an influence on James Lipton. James Lipton was from the Actors Studio. I'm sure you've heard of him. And he had 10 questions he would ask every guest to get a little insight into who the guest is.
Do I only have a minute?
What?
Do I only have a minute to do it?
No. You just answer. It's just
We
10
do
quick
this
questions.
Michael Heppel, when he interviewed me, he has 17 minutes with, so it's an interview, and then he has 17 questions, and you only have a minute and 17 seconds to answer them all.
Oh, no, this isn't like that.
So okay, I'm good then. 'Cause I'm not good with pressure.
Just go
No
with your gut.
pressure. No.
Okay.
First of all,
Yeah.
what is your favorite word?
Word?
Yes, your favorite word.
Serendipity.
Oh, I love
Oh.
serendipity.
I have a favorite word. A lot of
That's
people don't.
No, that's great. What is your least favorite word?
Mud.
Mud.
But
What turns you on creatively and spiritually and emotionally? What gets you excited?
I think music.
Excellent. And what is it that turns you off? Shuts you down?
Deceit.
Deceit.
Mm.
Excellent. What's your favorite curse word?
Crap. I
Oh.
say it all the time.
Oh, really?
Crap. It's such a terrible word.
It's really not.
No, but
It
is.
feels
You know
good.
what it is. Crap. What it is.
I mean, holy shit, we've heard worse.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I say the F word a lot, but I say crap more.
So crap's your favorite go-to word.
Yeah.
Ah, crap. All right.
Oh, crap. Or crappity crap.
Crap. Oh, double up on it. That's a
Crap
double
squared.
down. Okay. See, we're learning about who Kellen is now.
yeah.
Kellen, what noise do you love to hear?
Oh, it's when the pugs, when they purr. Rocco purrs.
Oh.
And I have a recording of it. So when I go away and I don't have the pugs with me, I play it in loop so that I can fall asleep.
Oh,
Aw.
that's so cool. What sound or noise do you hate?
I think everybody would agree with me with this, the chalkboard.
No, don't even. Oh.
Yep. Just thinking about it did it.
Yep, sorry.
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't even have a chalkboard in my office now.
What profession other than your own right now would you love to attempt? What profession would you love
Oh,
to?
I'd want to be a teacher. Oh, where'd he go? I'd want to be
right.
a teacher.
A teacher?
hmm
Oh, okay, excellent.
So I used
And,
to teach art K through 5. I volunteered for like 12 years in my daughter's school.
Wow.
And I volunteered, so it wasn't a career, but I would totally do that.
Oh,
Or I'd be an FBI profiler.
Ooh.
well, you know
Exciting.
what? If you become a teacher in an inner city school, you'll do a lot of FBI profiling anyway. So that all works out. You could do them both at the same time. I had a police force. My high school had a police force and metal detectors we had to go through every day.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I answered 2 for that. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. There are no rules, Kellen. There are no rules.
Okay.
It's all good.
I like
Okay, what profession would you never, ever, ever want to do?
real estate broker. I would rather be a garbage man than a real estate broker.
Perfect.
Wow.
Nothing.
that
No,
is-
I love.
So
my
you definitely
garbage man.
learned.
I leave my garbage
some
men
lessons.
beer. So.
You what?
I love them so much.
Okay. Last question.
Oh, okay.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I'm really proud of you.
That's exactly what I said, Kellen.
Really?
High five, sister.
Isn't that
High
what you
five.
want? You want to know that you made him proud.
Wow. My answer was Elvis is headlining tonight.
I'd say, where are my pugs?
Oh.
Seen Daisy and Loretta?
Thank you for sharing that. I know it's a little bit weird, but it gets to.
No, I love it.
That's good. That's good. And you are inspiring to us, and you're inspiring to our people that we're trying to reach. And again, our show is about, if you're not happy, if you're not living your best life, change. And I don't care if you're changing in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, or your 70s.
Mm-hmm.
If it's one day of happiness that you find, it was worth the change to do it.
It was.
Yeah.
And
I feel like this show was made for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's honestly the truth. We've been stalking you for a year. We created the show. It's about your life. Okay. Obviously,
tomorrow, next week.
Obviously, along with your growth, you've become quite self-important. I like that.
Oh my God. Excuse me.
So
beautiful.
We can't wait to see you on Second City TV with your improv. We wish you luck in everything. And is there a place people can go to learn about you, or how do they find your book, or all of that? What do you want to share? Or your Facebook, cards, even your cards.
Facebook, I'm Kellen Ann. And then I have cardsthatwow.com, which is it's under construction, but it still has everything. So there's a little section for pugs. I think it's called Pugs That Wow. And then there's the cards, and there's the frame and the gifting and the PR for the new authors and things like that. So everything's all in one little place. It's not very organized right now, but it's there. So it's a work in progress.
Nice.
That's excellent.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're stoked that you're here. Really. And you'll have to come back, and we'll have to talk about improv, and you tell us what you thought. Right,
so it's
Scott?
an 8-week class. So after 8 weeks, I'll let you know if I passed or not.
8 weeks.
Or kick me out.
Okay. We'll see how you do. We'll hit you with some little tests.
Yeah.
Okay, Kellen, you're a tree. Be a tree. Go ahead. Be a tree.
There
you go.
Wait, is it fall or spring?
Oh, I'm sorry. She's a method actor. I'm sorry. She needs. Well, what is the tree supposed to be feeling?
Oh God.
Have I just been chopped down?
You know what we'll do?
I'm gonna enjoy improv.
You are gonna enjoy it. So we'll bring you back in 8 weeks, Kellen, and we're gonna do like a little whose line is it anyway?
Okay.
Like we'll pick a card, and you'll have to
there
teach
we
us.
go.
Yeah, won't that be fun?
You guys have to do it with me, though. We have to be three
absolutely
working with each other.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll do that. Kellen, thank you very much for joining us. What a great time. And we love your story. You inspire so many people, and continue to do so. Please. And obviously our best to your daughter and your little grumble of doggies there.
Grumble.
Mary Kay, what do you take away from this show, Mary Kay?
I love it. It lines up with my philosophy and my optimism. You're never too old. It's not too late. Just do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time in
the
world.
Kellen.
We thank you so much. In the world right now, there's a whole lot of time thinking about who we're supposed to blame, whose fault things are in everything. And if that's how you need to live your life, then I can give you an answer to everything. You want to find fault, go look in the nearest mirror, because the only one who can make decisions to change your life is you. The only one who could find your purpose is you. The only one who can experience your happiness is you. And if you don't want to do it, you won't. But if you do want to do it, you can. So we hope everybody out there finds their happiness, finds their grumble, and moves on and just has a wonderful, wonderful life. Remember, always do 2 things nice for yourself, 1 thing nice for somebody else each day. You'll never have a bad day. For our guest, Kellen Ann, for Mary Kay, I'm Scott J. Thank you for joining us right here on the Life Between All or Nothing podcast. We'll catch you next time.